Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Águeda in Portugal. It's round 6 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. My name is Paul Malin. Thanks for joining us today live for the latest stage of the FIM Motocross World Championship. This is the MXGP of Portugal. We are in Águeda, about an hour south of Porto, or thereabouts. I guess, depending on how fast you drive. But a beautiful day here, pretty much like these postcard images that you're watching on screen now. Beautiful part of the world, northwest of the country. And we've been spoiled rotten since we got here. Fantastic racetrack, great weather, and hopefully some more great racing in store for us here at round 6. Fans are in their seats getting ready for MX2 race 1, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. That race set to go in about 13.5 minutes time. If you are just joining us for the first time this weekend, then a very warm welcome to Águeda here in Portugal. Nudging 20 degrees outside. Feels a little bit warmer than that though, actually, to be fair. There's still a slight breeze, less than it was yesterday. But the racetrack was prepped overnight, more water has gone down. Might be a little bit greasy in the early stages of MX2 race 1, but 1,630-metre racetrack will rough up over the course of the day here. Anyway, let's take a closer look at the track. Here is our GoPro track preview with Jeremy Seawer.
Our GoPro track preview this week comes from Águeda, and we're going to focus on the run down past pit lane, the final 2 corners, and that run up towards the finish line. As you can see, this weekend they've ripped the circuit quite deep. They will add water to that as well, and what that does then makes the ground a lot more sticky. And when you get to the end of this straight here on pit lane, what happens is you get a series of braking bumps over on the left side because there is a short, sharp little single to the inside here. To combat that, the riders then maybe carry a lot more speed around the outside, but that also gets quite rutty and quite chewed up. And what you then get is, certainly on the final lap of the race, as we had last year in MX2 between Ben Watson and Thomas Kjær-Olsen, one goes defensive, the other goes to the outside, jumping up into the final corner, and you get a real run towards the finish line. Last year it was about 2 tenths, maybe even less, between the Husqvarna and the Yamaha rider. Are we going to see something very, very similar this weekend? Don't forget, in MXGP we have Tony Cairoli and Tim Geiss, that battle. For Mondesal, Gauthier Paulin mightn't get involved in the mix, but it will certainly throw up 1 or 2 surprises if the racing is close all the way to the finish line.
Well, a few moments ago, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid. She spoke to the Red Bull KTM of number 61, Jorge Prado. Before that, the FNH Kawasaki of Rome Mostite, number 39.
Welcome to the start. We are well and truly warmed up for the first MX2 race of the day. Now, I'd like to speak to Roan van der Moosdijk. We're used to seeing him in the MX250s. I think the last time, Roan, you did an MX2 race was a couple of years ago, wasn't it? But yesterday, fantastic result. You were P6.
Yeah, I did a few GPs 2 years ago. But yeah, because there's a so long break in the Europeans, we decided to do a few GPs. And yeah, yesterday was really good. Time practice, I did third time, and in the qualifying, yeah, nice 6th place. So I'm looking forward to the races.
And I guess that result yesterday really does give you confidence in the MX250s as well. You clearly have the speed to run up the top end.
Yeah, of course, it's a good feeling now, and I want to keep it like this, yeah, also today.
Good luck for today. Thanks, Ryan. I'd like now to speak to one of yesterday's main protagonists, is Jorge Prado. Jorge, let's talk about yesterday's qualifying. Do you feel sometimes like a great racing from you, but do you sometimes feel out of your comfort zone, perhaps when you're not up front in the lead?
Well, yesterday we had a lot of fun that quali race, you know. It was those races that you enjoyed a lot, you know, passing, trying to find different lines, and okay, I'm third for today, but today is the day that counts, so no, I felt very good yesterday, felt good this morning again, so no, I like battling as well. Yesterday was just a qualifying race, so let's try to make it happen today.
And of course, being here in Portugal, I guess it's perhaps the closest to your home GP as well. A lot of Spanish fans here come over across the border, so that must give you that extra bit of push and energy out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is the closest GP right now, and probably 95% of the public it's from Spain, and you know, I have many fans, so I'm very happy to see all those flags and people with my shirt, and it's crazy. It's a nice feeling.
Have a great race. Thanks, Jorge. Good luck to the guys. It's time for MX2 Race 1.
E agora volta de cimento para os pilotos da categoria MX2.
So the riders out on their sighting lap, back in their pens now. But yesterday, racetrack right towards the end of the day, hard and slick, pretty fast as well. Take a look at our championship coming into round 6 here. Thomas Olsson leads by 7 points over Jorge Prado. Prado's won every race, 8 in total, during the season that he's ridden. Didn't line up at Great Britain round 2. But Henry Jacobi, third, Jago Kietz and Ben Watson rounding out the top 5 with Vial, Valandren, Evans, Puches and Sterry. Valandren not riding though, he was here. His bike went through technical control, but he's had some complications with that ankle injury. Picked up a major infection, so he's been back. He's already had surgery, he's had the plates removed, that's all been cleaned up. And at the moment, there is no time frame as to when the Dutchman will be back. Here's highlights from yesterday though, MX2 qualifying. The gate drops. Jorge Prado made a great start. So too did Darren Sinai. Vial was in there between the two of them. Ben Watson went down at turn 1, just behind these guys. Vial came out in around second, but then quickly lost 2 positions to the 29 of Henry Jacobi and the 19 of Thomas Olsson. But what happened next was an absolute dogfight. Jacobi sees an opportunity to try and find his way past Prado. That attempt failed. But before the end of the lap, the young Spaniard, Bob Aldy, made a mistake. Jacobi was through. And these two swapped positions on a number of occasions, and the Spaniard not able to make any impact. And all the while in the background, we had Thomas Kjær Olsen keeping an eye out. Sinai lost 4th place to the 43 of Mitch Evans, but then he also got caught napping when Adam Sterry, and before that, the 225 of Brian Moreau, sorry, the 39 of Roman Amostike. The 61 found his way back into the lead briefly. But Jacobi dug his elbows out and dug in, carved his way up the inside to take over the lead, and then, half a lap later, TKO Olsen. Caught them both napping and scythed his way into the lead on his Husqvarna. For the remainder of the race, all fans were on their feet as Jacobi defended that 2nd place from Jorge Prado. Even despite this pass here, Jacobi responded immediately and retook that 2nd position. The flag went out to Thomas Kjær Olsen, a qualifying race winner for the 4th time in 2019. Top 5 in the championship then looks like this. Thomas Kjær Olsen on 207, Prado 200. And then 43 points behind is Henry Jacobi with Jago Kietz 7 points further back. And he in turn has 5 points over his teammate Ben Watson. Calm before the storm, as always. These final moments for the riders as they line up behind the grid. They've been out on their sighting lap. They are now back in front of the waiting zone, getting ready to go to the line. Fantastic crowd in here today as well, more so than yesterday. Here's how the riders line up then for the MXGP of Portugal here at Agada. for MX2 race 1 and later on today race 2. Thomas Kjær-Olsen on pole for the 4th time ahead of Henry Jacobi, Jorge Prado, Mitch Evans, Matthijs Boisramé. He spun up on the start actually, but took advantage of everybody else going wide. And he came out at the end of the first lap in 8th. So the start straight here lends itself to that. Van der Moosdijk was 6th, Brian Moreau 7, Michele Chervelin 8, Sanaya and Sterry were 9 and 10. Then it was Geerts, Beaton, Iker Larrinaga of Spain, Bas Varsen was 14, Maxime Renault, Brent Van Donnick, Andrea Zanotti, Mitch Harrison was 18th on his Bud Racing Kawasaki. Tom Bial 19th. Spoke to his mechanic this morning and he said that he fell on the opening lap just in the right-hander before the waves over on the far side of the circuit, picked himself up, pulled a tear off, they all came off. So he'll be hoping that that will not happen today, of course. Ben Watson came home 20th, having crashed right in the first turn there. And Dylan Walsh came home in 21st position. 37 riders will line up behind the gate today. Mikael Harup had a crash in practice yesterday, will not start today. Just nursing a bit of a headache. Stefan Rubini, not sure if he's fractured a bone in his leg or just stretched a ligament, but obviously his priority is EMX 250 in France in a week's time at Saint-Jean-d'Angely, so he too will not line up. And of course, we already mentioned Calvin Verlanderen. Complications with that ankle injury, an infection after last week. And so Verlanderen already back home. He's had surgery, he's had the plates removed, he's had it all cleaned up. And as yet, there is no set date for a return for the number 10 for Team HRC. Thomas Kjær-Olsen starts on pole then on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna for the 4th time in 2019. What can the Dane do? He knows that Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM, is closing in. He's won the last 3 rounds with maximum points. And that gap is now down to 7. But will the Spaniard be feeling a little bit of pressure here this weekend? Henry Jacobi, F&H Racing Team, the Kawasaki racer from Germany, lost points in race 2 last week when he didn't finish. And that has dented his championship. He's now 43 behind Prado. But he's still 3rd in the championship. But he has Jago Geerts, number 193, and Ben Watson closing in fast. There's Jorge Prado. Wasn't able to find his way to the front after making that slight bobble yesterday. And he had to be content with 3rd. But we know that he has fantastic start prowess. He's taken 6 Vauxhall shots this year alone. And Tom Vial, his teammate, has the other 4. Mitchell Evans for Honda 114 Motorsports. Feeling pretty good. He had a good ride yesterday. Came home in 4th position. If he can get a good start, will he throw a spanner in the works? Will he be the cat amongst the pigeons? In terms of the top 3 guys in the championship at the moment. Roman van der Moosdijk, F&H Racing Team, a fantastic qualifying race for him. Coming home in 6th place. Just ahead of another youngster for Bud Racing, Kawasaki, Brian Moreau on the 225. But start straight here, nicely prepped and ripped. There's Ben Watson. He fell at turn 1. So the track was so difficult to patch yesterday, despite getting through to 20th. So he'll be looking to at least get a better start and be up there amongst the front runners. So too will Michele Chervelin on the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori machine. Was in 3rd in race 1 last weekend in Mantova before his bike expired, unfortunately for him. And that keeps him down in 13th place in the championship. Jed Beaton, saw him last night around dinner time in the evening. Asked about the track, said it was stony. He said, but you know what, quote of the day, the stones are so big they hardly leave the ground. So he's opting not to ride with handguards, or he wasn't planning on it anyway. There's Adam Sterry, 2nd in qualifying last week at Mantova. If he gets a good start, expect him to run up front as well. In fact, F&H Racing have got a very good, strong team here this weekend. 766 there, Michael Sandler just making 1 or 2 adjustments. The Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the first time here in Portugal for MX2 race 1. Big hitters to the inside, look, and Olsen already poised, ready, elbows up and head over the front of his handlebars. 5-second board turns now, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. MX2 race 1 is go. Prado gets a good start, immediately comes across the Kawasaki and the Husqvarna. They get squeezed to the inside as Prado dances his way through the first turn ahead of everybody else. A couple of riders go off at turn 1 and Sanaya goes down. The Viking DRT Kawasaki rider picking himself up as best he can, but one of the F&H boys almost spinning up the knobblies on his belly. But dropping downhill for the first time, it's Prado leading the way. Looks like it might be Chervelin there in second position. Let's have a look. Yeah, Chervelin in the yellow. Jacoby, a good start for him in third. Olsen in fourth, alongside him, Mitch Evans. Over onto the left-hand side now in this uphill triple. Well, they put a lot of water down. It's proper snotty and greasy on these opening laps. Good news is it will dry out, unlike last week at Mantova, where it just teemed with rain all day long. Ben Watson was in about 9th position at the first split, but he looks to have dropped at the next split as Sunai does his best to pick his handlebars out of the ground and straighten everything up. But Prado, well, you don't want to be giving anybody a 7th foxhole shot of his prowess, but with tricky conditions, he just needs to be mindful. He is the guinea pig out here, of course. He's got to lead the way. He's the one that's got to tread carefully whilst trying to establish a lead at the head of the field. Needs to be cautious. But maybe that is not a word that's in his vocabulary. Chervelin, though, got the start that he needed. Here's Prado. So over the line for the first time then, Jorge Prado leads away from Caleb Chervelin, Henry Jacoby. Thomas Olsen is in 4th place. 5th is Mitch Evans. Guarame is 6th. Yates 7th. Vial 8. Larinaga 9. Zanotti 10. Walsh 11. Sterry, Sakina, Leciado, and Diogi Gressa 15th place. Hampus Cardlin, Alvin Osler, Basparson, Maxim Renault, and Peter Pola. And where is Watson? He did fall. He's down in 27th place. Van Donnick and Sinai also fell on the opening lap. And Jed Beaton, unlucky as well. 30th position for the second of the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. A bobble there when he came to the land. Caught Prado by surprise. Pushed him wider than he wanted to go, but watch this, he lands. And then just catches an edge. Fortunately, there was a bank there that stopped him going overboard. 2 seconds the gap between him and Chervelin as they came over the line. Olsen watching his championship lead disappear at the moment because he can't find his way past the hard-charging number 29 of Henry Jacoby. Spent the first 6 laps trying to get by him and Prado in the qualifying race yesterday, but he was able to make his move past both of them in one foul swoop. Both these two, though, put in a fantastic performance, but how much did that cost them in terms of performance today? Do they have the legs to push for 2 35-minute motos after the efforts they put in the qualifying race on Saturday? Here's Prado looking to establish a lead so he can maybe just turn it off a little bit towards the end of the race. See what his lap time is at the first official point this time around. Of course, it'll be the fastest lap of the race. He is the quickest guy. He is 1:52.8. Everyone else in the 54s and 56s behind him. But it's Prado who continues to lead by 4 seconds over Chervelin, Jacoby, and Olsen. Jacoby on the Kawasaki there, and the Husqvarna here of Olsen in 4th place. Mitch Evans about 2 seconds further back in Australia. He's in 5th place. Guarame is 6th for Honda Red Motor Asamoto. Another good start for the French rider, former European champion. Jacoby up to his old tricks, and did 2 people come out of that second corner? Yes, they did, just about. Chervelin must have thought he was in line for a wheel change there because Jacoby went straight for it. So we have a new rider in second position. Can he close down Prado in the next 25.5 minutes? Right, Olsen will be desperate to find his way past Chervelin, who is now in 3rd place. Awkward conditions. We had quickly drying racetrack towards the end of the European 252-stroke Championship Race 2 and WMX Race 2. An hour or so before this race got underway. But the sprinkler system, recently installed, has been turned on just to put some water into the track. So yes, with it being hard and slick, it's going to be greasy on top, but it will eventually come good. There'll be a lot of traction. But in the process, the guys are going through tear-offs left, right and centre. Ooh, And just a little out of line there for Olsen. Almost runs into the back of Cherblin at the top of the hill. You wouldn't have thought too much of that, though. Head down as usual. There's the Honda of Evans just in the background. Olsen getting caught behind the Yamaha rider of Italy. As Jacobi disappearing. Another fast lap for Prado. A 1:52.004 as Olsen should find a way through here. No, this time he looks to go around the outside, gets squeezed at the bottom of the hill. Cherblin holding up the championship leader. So Jacobi second, Cherblin third, Olsen fourth. This is third and fourth, just on the red Honda behind him. Mitch Evans in fifth. Matej Boromé, Iago Gitz, Tom Vial, Ika Larinaga, Andrea Zanotti. They are in top 10. Adam Sterry is 11th, head of the Revo Husqvarna of Dylan Walsh. Richard Sakina is next. So the 102, who had a tough time in qualifying yesterday. Olsen getting his big old arms out, forces his way down the inside of Cherblin into third place. Evans would have seen that. He'll be getting ready to queue up a pass as well on the 747 Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori rider. So all change in the last couple of laps here. Right, outside, Olsen goes around. Cherblin, who bobbled on the exit of the turn. Olsen still had to work harder because Cherblin did look across to see if he could close the door, but realised he didn't have a lot of room to work in. But eventually Olsen did go through into third. Down past pit lane then for the third time. Olsen starting to pull clear of Cherblin as Evans, 43 on the Honda, closes in on the Italian. We've got a Spaniard leading a German, leading a Dane, an Italian, an Aussie, a Frenchman, a Belgian. 7 different nationalities inside the top 7 places. Then we have Iago Gitz, Tom Vial, Ika Larinaga, Andrea Zanotti. Where's Watson? Watson now up into 20th position, which is where he finished in qualifying yesterday. So a good start, an off-track excursion, and all of a sudden, Watson having to work hard again. That'll cost him a position in the championship at this stage as well. Ryder saying the track was so fast yesterday, difficult to overtake, didn't get as bumpy as it normally does. Last year, of course, were deep ruts all around this particular part of the racetrack because we had 2 or 3 days of persistent rain. Despite that, though, the track did turn out to be quite nice, but it was bumpier than usual. But a prolonged period of dry weather here means the ground, a hard clay base, has dried out. Yes, you can rip it, but you're really just ripping the crust off the top. And then you're back down to a hard base. So the track a lot faster than it has been previously. Evans there in 5th place on his Honda 114 Motorsports machine. Matej Boromé, last year's 250 European champion, right behind him, feeling at home on these hard, slick conditions. The Honda Red Motor Asamoto rider doing his best to keep Iago Gitz at bay in 7th on the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha. Pass now, if only, was a thought that runs through their head. Sterry up into 10th now. She's found his way past Andrea Zanotti, right in the 931 Marchetti Racing KTM. But once again, another fastest lap of the race for Jorge Prado, 1:51.0, almost into the 50s now for the Spaniard. And actually, he led the championship briefly, but Olsen has taken back control by 2 points with his move on Cherblin a lap ago. Here's Matej Boromé. Where's his teammate? Brent Van Donnick down in 35th place at the moment. Going after Mitch Evans. 2 French teams duking it out here, both Hondas. Mitch Evans burst onto the scene in spectacular fashion with a podium at the first round in Argentina. He's 8th in the championship at the moment. He had a 5th and a 3rd that day. Been up and down a little bit since then, but he's had a number of top 10 positions. In fact, every race he's finished has been inside the top 10. Just that one DNF at Matterley Basin. 6th, 7th and 8th on a regular basis since then. Here's Tom Vial, just behind Vial. We have Iker Larranaga, the Spaniard, difficult rider to overtake. There's Adam Sterry on the F&H Kawasaki is about to find out. Number 66, coming back from double shoulder surgery last year. So the Marchetti Racing KTM heads past pit lane here. Lead rider in shot in 9th place. Looking to keep Adam Sterry, the Welshman, at bay for F&H Kawasaki. 5 laps complete then, 18.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go here. MX2 race 1 at the MXGP of Portugal in Agada. First Grand Prix we had back here was 1985. Dave Strybos, the winner that day on his Benco Honda. MX2 now is a rebranded version of the old 125 category. Whoa, Vial! Sorry, Larranaga loses the front end. Well, the last time we saw somebody crash there was Tony Cairoli. We need to see Wave Jellos at the top of the hill. I'm sure they are. But riders just coming into land. And Larranaga in a very, very precarious position. Watch it, he lost the front already. That is a scrub gone wrong, isn't it? But fortunately for him, he lands on the downside, headbutts the ground in the process, but picks himself up. Nothing wrong with those shoulders, but Larranaga then out of 9 in spectacular fashion, and looks like he's going to tiptoe his way back. His bars are bent, breathes a sigh of relief, and in the meantime, Mitch Evans has closed in on Chervelin as he looks to strike for 4th. Having to go wide, cut back, stay out of the roost, try and preserve the goggles. So we'll give you a fresh recap then on the top 10 as they hit the line this time around at the end of lap 6. Jorge Prado already over the line, and his lead over Jacoby now 8 seconds. Jacoby going faster that time around though than the race leader by about 0.2 of a second. 3rd is Olsen. He too went quicker than the race leader. Then we have Chervelin 4, Evans 5, top of your screen, and then just behind him on the second of those Hondas is Matej Boromé. Jago Hirt still not able to inflict anything on his Yamaha, just disappearing out of shot now. And then we've got Tom Vial right there, teammate to our race leader on that Red Bull KTM. Adam Sterry now 9th, of course at the expense of Iker Larranaga's spectacular get-off a moment ago. And Andrea Zanotti finds himself in 10th place for Marchetti Racing KTM. Dylan Walsh is 11, and a man down there, same place. Wow, and Chervelin doing his best to pick himself up, but wow, they have obviously overwatered the takeoff of that, because that's 2 riders in 2 laps. The jump faces are hard here anyway. Struggling to pick that up, and I wonder if he's got a shoulder problem there, Chervelin. Same thing, look. Slick, and that was a harder fall for Chervelin. Wow. So 2 riders in 2 laps then claimed on the same slick takeoff that takes the riders downhill. That's high speed there as well. You come out of the corner, second gear, you're hitting that in 3rd gear. And you see the consequences of it as well. Just cost us 2 riders in this race, and it's cost Chervelin 4th place in MX2 race 1. So Prado, his lead is being slashed ever so slightly, because Jacoby now sets the fastest lap of the race. A 51.0 for Prado, a 50.7 for the F&H Racing Kawasaki here, number 29, who is in 2nd place. 7.7 seconds down, takes a look across wants to know exactly what's going on. Olsen is third. Similar pace to Prado. These are the same three guys that worked their way to the top in the MX2 qualifying race yesterday. Evans about 6 seconds further back. He's also in the 51s. After that, we have to go to Adam Sterry, who is a 52. Fourth fastest rider on track in 8th place with 14.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Maxime Renault now up in the 10th place. So he is the lead SM Action MC Migliori Yamaha rider. Dylan Walsh 12th. Oh, he's just been passed by Bas Varsen. Oh, this was Renault. Oh, carves his way up the inside of Walsh. That's how he got into 10th. Keep an eye on the lap times then. Next time around is Jacoby whittling down that gap. It's 7.7 seconds at the moment in a 7 or 8 corners time. Will it have gone out to 8 or less than 7.7, sorry. He's just one of those riders, isn't he? He's an attack man. Ruffled a few feathers yesterday in the qualifying race when he refused to lie down, harassed and harried. Prado has ripped his shirt, ripped his shoulder open. Lucky that it's still in its socket. Chervelin. Well, a response from Prado then, a 50.1, 4/10 quicker and a fastest lap of the race. Gap now more than 8 seconds between him and Jacoby. Evans has made a mistake. Evans is no longer in 4th place because Boirame and Jago Kietz have both gone through. So was it a mistake from the Australian on the Honda 114 machine? May have just been an overshoot in one of the corners. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it was Boirame just running the Australian off track and allowing Jago Kietz to go through. But now Boirame is 4th, Kietz 5th, Evans 6th, Vial closing in 7th, Sterry, Zanotti and Renault in 10th place. Bas Varsen is in 11th position for Hitachi KTM UK, fueled by Milwaukee. Still no Conrad Muse. That position is being filled in by the 141 of Alexander Brown. He's just outside of the points at the moment, riding with a hand injury, picked up in free practice or time practice yesterday on his right hand. But here, enjoying the experience, of course, thrown in at the deep end, hadn't ridden the bike until yesterday morning in free practice. Jago Kietz looking to go past Boirame. This is for 4th place. So Jago Kietz then 4th in the championship. 3 seconds and a 18th in his last 4 outings. Well, 4 seconds and an 18th in his last 5. Went down at the first turn in Mantova race 2 last weekend. That's why he blotched his copybook a little bit there. He'll be looking to make amends here in race 1 if he can. Watson, his teammate, was 16th. He's just been passed to 17th because Roman Amostek has found his way through. So 11 minutes 20 plus 2 laps to go here in MX2 race 1, round 6 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We're at Agata for the MXGP of Portugal. Jorge Prado 8.5 seconds clear of Jacoby. Thomas Olsen is 3rd. This is a battle for 4th here. Matej Boirame on the Honda, the blue Yamaha of Jago Kietz. Well, the black Yamaha, I should say. They are normally blue, but unless you follow the sport, you wouldn't know the difference between a blue bike and a black bike. So the black Yamaha, Monster Energy Kemea machine of Jago Kietz. Mitch Evans is next in 6th position for Honda 114 Motorsports. The Red Bull KTM of Vial is 7th. Sterry is 8th for F&H. 9th is the Marchetti Racing KTM of Andrea Zanotti. Here's Lisa Leyland down in pit lane.
So I've just had a little bit of news on Michele Chervelin. We just saw him crash out of 4th position. I spoke to his trainer. It's actually a dislocated collarbone. At the moment, he's gone to the medical centre. He's going to get checked out, and it's questionable whether he's going to line up on the gate for the 2nd race. So we'll keep you posted on that one.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, unfortunate then, out of 4th position and out of the race and potentially out of the Grand Prix. A dislocated collarbone, the first diagnosis for the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori rider, Michele Chervelin. Just when he needed a good start and a good result to get his championship back on track, to get him inside the top 10. Off on a greasy takeoff. came crashing to earth with an almighty thump. Right, Prado leads. Jacobi is second. Olsen third. Warame here, top of your screen, is in fourth place. The guy behind him in black, the 193 of Jago Geerts is fifth. Evans sixth. Vial seventh. Sterry eighth. Zanotti 9. Maxime Renault is in 10th place. Bas Barson 11. Mitchell Harrison. Good to see the American up here in 12th place. It's been a very turbulent campaign for him. He first turned wheels in MX2 this year. He has previous experience, of course, when he rode some great Grand Prix a couple of years ago at home in the US. But his first wheels turned in Grand Prix this year were back at Trentino. Had a good qualifying race, but found it tough going in the races since then. In both those Italian GPs, one at Trentino, Pietro Murata, and the other one at Lombardia, Mantova. Enzo Torriani there. And Peter Pollock, they're dicing in the lower order, just behind Hardy Ruziorg. So outside of the points, these guys. Graphics hanging off the back of Torriani's Brad Shroud there, so he's obviously had a bit of a scuff or thrown his bike down the track. Walsh has been passed by Jed Beaton now, who's up in the 14th on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He was unlucky a week ago. Here's Narin Sinai. He crashed at the top of the hill, turn 2. Got ran over by half the pack in the process. But Sinai now in 30th place for Bike at DRT Kawasaki. Where's his teammate Gustav Pessoa? Gus in 22nd position, actually. Still trying to ride his way through that Epstein-Barr virus that he picked up during the winter. Season came at the wrong time for the American, number 57, but he's having to ride his way through it. This is where he fell. Turn 2 on lap 1. Just behind the 331 of Loris Frieding. Riding for the team STC Racing IXS, but Sinai looking to find his way past. Rowan van der Moosdijk also past Dylan Walsh now, so van der Moosdijk up in the 15th as Walsh losing ground into 16th position now. Jago Geerts getting closer to Matej Sporame as they work their way towards the first corner. Tries to go in and out early, but not able to execute the pass there. And this is the jump where Ika Larinaga and both he and Chervlin fell. Obviously looks like it's drying out a little bit now. Fantastic ride this for Boirame. Best result so far, a 7th in race 2 at Mantova for the European champ from last year. Netted him 10th overall. Is he going to stay inside the top 5 with that 4th place finish? Jago Geerts will, of course, make it very difficult for him. Using a multitude of lines, and these two. Here's one of the Revo Huskies, or maybe both of them, actually. Yeah, 161, Alvin Osland and Dylan Walsh. Oh no, one of them is, well, there's, yeah, 2 of them are in there, but must be fighting over about 16th place. Right, here is the 39 of Rowan van der Moosdijk. Jed Beaton just ahead of him. Got a bit of a kick through those waves. Solid ride in race 1 a week ago. Got him 3rd. He'll be looking for, like I said, there's nothing wrong with his riding anyway, but didn't have the best winter. Got over his leg injuries and then just picked up 1 or 2 little knocks here and there. Jago Geerts looking to find a way past the 172 of Boirame still. So that's the step down at turn 2. This is what happened to Ika Larinaga earlier. Lost the front and then the back. he was inside the top 10. And then Chervelin was in 4th place when he too lost the back end on the same jump. His crash a little bit harder. May have dislocated a shoulder or a collarbone. Couldn't quite pick his bike up, but Christian Revelia there, his coach, trainer, nursing him back towards the paddock. All the doors that are being left open by Matthijs Boisrome are being closed just as quickly as Jago Geerts tries to find his way past the Frenchman. And Evans lurking in the background still in 6th place. So a 3-way battle for 4 continues. And we're into the final 4 minutes plus 2 laps. MX2 race 1 here, Portugal. Oh! Boisrome going from one side of the track to the other, trying to defend his honour and his line. Not the easiest place to overtake, it would appear, this year. Everyone similar lap times, 51s, 52s. Here it's getting closed off again there by Boisrome. Came up short on the finish line jump. Maxime Renault now up into 9th place for Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori. Disposed of Andrea Zanotti's Marchetti Racing KTM, who is now in 10th place ahead of Bas Varsen. Jago Geerts got to be careful now. He's clearly getting held up by the Honda rider, and Evans is closing him fast. Oh, and he lights up the back end there. Costs him a little bit of time. Evans will be through, you know, if the Belgian in the middle tries to go wide to try something to pass Boisrome. There's Tom Vial. He's getting closer as well. Good effort, though, from Boisrome. Evans not letting these guys go, is he? Only did a couple of rounds last year, Boisrome. 18th was a wild card at Trentino, 17th overall in Germany. Oh, hello. It's a couple of seconds between Jacobi and Olsen at the start of lap 13. Lap 14, we're now past that point, and there's nothing in it between them now. A 51.5 and a 50.3. Olsen looking to try and pick off another position and therefore 2 championship points to keep hold of that championship lead. He has it at the moment by 2 points. 3-way scrap here for 4th place. Boisrome sets his fastest lap of the race, a 51.9. Jago Geerts tries to run him up the inside. Pulls out of the challenge, goes around the outside. Well, he had to make that happen. And he does, he closes down the door here, but Boisrome may just try and squirt it back up the inside here. Olsen all over the back of, well, they've got a back marker between them now. Enzo Torriani. Oh, Olsen wasn't able to jump there because Torriani couldn't. So that's cost the Dane all that time. Meanwhile, Jago Geerts now up in the 4th place. Torriani needs to move out of the way. He's seen Jacobi go through, he's seen Prado go through. Surely knows that the leaders are coming through. Another back marker on the horizon as well for Thomas Kjær Olsen. This time in the form of 184, Nathaniel Bress. Takes a look over his shoulder now. Olsen has clear track and is back to a similar position as he was a lap ago, but that has definitely cost the championship leader a little bit of time, more so than he wanted. But he has minimised that gap again going into lap 16. Prado only 6.9, less than 7 seconds clear of these two. The 53.3, maybe he got held up by a back marker, maybe just letting off a little bit. Might have something to do with Olsen getting himself onto the rear wheel of the Kawasaki as he's pushing for 2nd here. Blue flag's being waved. Come on, get out of the way. Olsen's coming through. Nothing worse than a mobile chicane when you're fighting for a top 3 position. Vassen is into 10th now. He's found his way past Zanotti. So the Hitachi KTM UK rider, fueled by Milwaukee, now moves up another place. That's going to be 11 championship points for the Dutchman. Sanai yields. He fell at turn 2, start of the race. He's been off as well, again, down from 27th to 3rd yet. Dropping downhill. Again, Jacobi doing enough to hang on to that 2nd position at the moment. How long? And Evans has gone through on Poirame. So Geert's found his way past the Frenchman, and now the Aussie has done exactly the same. So all change again then, as Olsen closes in on Jacobi with 2 laps to go. Prado, 5.7 seconds clear on his Red Bull KTM. The F&H Kawasaki of Jacobi, 29, top of your screen, is in 2nd. Olsen, your championship leader, is 3rd for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. 4th, the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha of Jago Geert, yet to come over the line in 4th place. Still waiting for him to come through in 4th place, actually. And he does so. Some 22 seconds down on this guy here, Olsen. Mitch Evans is next with his fastest lap of the race, a 51.3 on lap 16. Then Poirame now in 7th. Vial, Sterry, Renault, Vassen. They're your top 10 as they enter the final 2 laps of this race. Here's Jorge Prado. Knew he needed a good start. He didn't want to get drawn into the battles of yesterday in the qualifying race. Called his 7th Vauxhall shot of the year from 11 starts. Well, actually, 9 starts for him. Blue flags being waved all over the place as Olsen takes advantage as well. Oh, how much racetrack do you want to use, Thomas? All over the back, and he's going to get squeezed here. He might get the power down. Jacobi will try to close the door at the end of the straight. Here he does. But Jacobi, he goes wide. Olsen goes to the inside. They both scrub off the top of the hill. Wow, proper scrap going on between Olsen, the 19, and Jacobi, the 29. That was for 2nd position. Oh, he had to get those elbows out, didn't he? He had to be aggressive, otherwise there was no way through for Olsen. Entering the final lap then, Jorge Prado with a 1:53.4. Is that gap coming down? 4.5 seconds at 51.5, and that was a pass as well on Jacobi for Olsen. Not going to say that it's impossible, but surely Prado has this in hand. Watch this here. Back marker, Loris Friedig. Both riders went to the outside, but Jacobi went a bit too wide. Olsen almost landed in Spain. Goes around the outside, sets Jacobi up through the waves, and managed to force the pass at the end of the straight. Aggressive riding from both riders, but keeping it clean in the latter stages of this race. Still wasn't done, look, 3-4 corners later. Jacobi tried to outfox Olsen, but he got outfoxed by the Dane. So Olsen now in 2nd. Prado just at the top of the hill. That gap is coming down, but Prado will have this in hand as he looks to take his 9th race win of the season. Here he is, number 61, Jorge Prado. Makes a difference when you can pull a whole shot. Only got 7 in the books this year. Right, where is Jacobi? Jacobi seems to have lost a little bit of ground here. Jorge Prado, final 2 corners for the Red Bull KTM. He's not going to take the championship line. And Prado takes the win in race 1. Olsen is going to be second. Jacobi, I think, has got a problem on the final lap. He's either fallen or he's got a technical, because he has definitely disappeared off the leaderboard. Olsen goes through 3.3. He has, yeah. Finally gets going, so he's fallen in the waves. He's facing 108 degrees, so he's gone down, probably gone down hard. Couldn't get that bike fired up. Wow, disappointment for F&H and Jacobi then. So Jago Geerts inherits third on the final lap. Evans fourth. Guarame will get a top 5 finish for the first time in MX2. Vial 6. Sterry will take 7th. Or will he? Will it be his teammate? Waiting for him to come through now. The lead F&H Kawasaki rider is Jacobi in 7th. Sterry takes 8th. Renault Vassen will round out your top 10 in that order. An explosive end then to MX2 race 1, but Jorge Prado 3.3 seconds clear in the end, stayed out of trouble. He pulled the foxhole shot for the 7th time this year, led every single lap. Win number 9 now for the Spaniard.
Jorge Prado, congratulations. Your 7th foxhole shot. You definitely looked a lot more comfortable out in front, more so than yesterday, but you got your 9th race win of the season. Yeah, got a whole shot and then good laps. I like the track quite a lot, and just the lappers, you know, quite tough to pass them over here. And but no, happy with the race. One more moto, and hopefully the next one, and get it overall here in Portugal. Good luck for the second race.
Jorge Prado then wins his 9th race of the season. Made slightly easier by the fact that he picked up his 7th foxhole shot of the year as well. He's still second in the championship, 4 points down on Thomas Kjær Olsen. So if he finishes first and Olsen finishes second in race 2, Olsen will maintain his championship leader's red plate as we head to France in a week's time. But of course, still plenty of racing to go before then. Prado will enjoy his victory here in race 1. A lot of Spanish fans have turned out to see the number 61. He's obviously not wanting to disappoint them. Official confirmation then of MX2 race 1. Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM, your winner from the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Olsen. Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha of Geerts. The 114 Motorsport Honda of Evans. Guarame for Honda Red Motor, Asamotor. Vial, Jacobi, Sterry, Renault, Vassen. Then Brian Moreau, Jed Beaton, Mitch Harrison, Roman Mosdijk, Zanotti, Puches, Osland, Watson, Leciado, and Pessoa gets a point here. He'll be pleased with that because his dad's here, has been for the last couple of weekends, all the way from Brazil. Take a look at the highlights then from MX2 race 1, and wow, there should be quite a few of them, I think. An action-packed race here. Prado already about a week clear as he came out of the gate for foxhole shot number 7. Sanai was behind him in 2nd place, but then the American fell in turn 2, went down. Sterry ran him over. A whole bunch of guys got caught up in that melee as well. Chervelin was in 2nd. Jacobi was 3rd, Evans 4th, Olsen was 5th as Sanai did his best to straighten his bike out. Then Chervelin found his way back to 3rd as Jacobi charged through. Olsen was next. Had to put the squeeze on the Italian, pushed him back to 4th. Evans watching there in 5th place. Ika Larinaga binned it big time, picked himself up though. Chervelin not so lucky, out of 4th and out of the race. Possible dislocated shoulder or collarbone. Maxime Renault forced his way up the inside of the 53 of Dylan Walsh as he charged his way to an eventual 9th place. But there's big scraps going on further down the field. Sanai picking himself up and rejoining the race, but Evans, Guarame, Vial, Jago Geerts all in their own little battle here. This was for 4th position. Matej Guarame on the red Honda was the lead guy in that little quartet. Olsen started to close in on Jacobi. This was for 2nd. Geerts made his way into 4th with that pass on Guarame with just a few laps to go. Evans then followed through, nudged his way past the Frenchman to get himself into 5th. Jacobi got past for 2nd on the final lap, and then Jacobi fell. Eventually picked himself up and came home in 7th ahead of his teammate. So it's Prado who took the win, Olsen 2nd, Geerts, Evans and Guarame, your top 5. As we said, a lot of action in that first MX2 race. Right, let's take a look at Foxy Loxy. Who picked up the foxhole shot this weekend in race 1? Who else? Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM, another one of those black plates. 7 now in the books for the rider who sits second in the championship standings. Walking away with this one right now, though, isn't he, in the foxhole shot competition? Great turnout here in Portugal this weekend for the MXGP of Portugal in Águeda. We've just witnessed a fantastic MX2 race. Take a look at some of the best moments from that first race in MX2. Some of the best moments from MX2 Race 1 here in Portugal. Join us in a couple of minutes. When we return, it'll be for MXGP Race 1. We'll see you then.